Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video here on structural coverage. Today we will have a look into a password manager I've written some years ago in Golang, and we will implement a new global flag with the name noclip to disable copying into the clipboard automatically. So this is used, for example, when you select credentials, the password is automatically copied to the clipboard, or sometimes also the username if specified so in the global configuration. And sometimes you would like to disable this, so that's why we need this global flag. But let's first have a look into Passline, how to use it and what it can do. So let's jump into the terminal. And here we are. So to execute Passline, just type in Passline into the terminal. But let's first have a quick look into the help section. I'm using here a library called Urfaith CLI that just helps by creating a command line interface with Golang. So really nice library. Check it out if you need such a tool. So this is the help section. We can already see there are some commands available: adding a password, generating a password, and the default command will just give you a selection of credentials so that you can pick from. And we also have some global options like -- yes to answer every prompt with yes, or -- print to print the password into the std out. Normally we just copy it to the clipboard. And this is also the section where we now would like to add our new noclip option. But let's first have a quick look into how to use Passline then. So when I just type in Passline, I will just get a list of websites or URLs that I've configured or passwords for, and we can just navigate with Vim motion on Linux or with the arrow keys through the list. So we have pagination, we see the total items, and then we can just press enter. And this would now normally ask us for the master password, but here I'm on this, I'm connected via SSH to my development environment, and there the clipboard does not work, and that's also why I need this option. So to also use Passline here. And Passline has some quite nice features like a cool search. So for example, if I just type in Passline 3D, it will just list all the credentials or all the URLs that have some 3D in their name. So we just see 3D Hub, 3D Primer, Cools 3D. So there's some quite nice filtering in order to find the right credentials. That's it from how Passline works, and let's jump into the code. Here we are in the code editor. Let's first have a look into some of the modules that are available here. We have the actions module. Here all the actions, so everything you can do, all the commands are defined and implemented in this module. So you can see here's the delete, the generate, and also our default command. Then we have a CLI module. Here everything, the UI logic, let's say, is implemented. So the input, the selection, everything that the user sees in the end is implemented in the CLI module. Clipboard module, some Windows, Linux specific clipboard things. A config, this is quite interesting. So I've already mentioned it before. There is a global configuration for Passline. So you can configure some things globally in your home directory, like for the most command line tools. And you can, for example, change the storage provider. At the moment, there are 2 local storage, so everything is just persisted on your computer and will never leave it. Or there's a Firebase storage, so that you can also sync your passwords across multiple devices, and some others here. And then there's a context util that will be also a file that we need to modify later on, because in order to provide this global configuration or also the flags into the actual command in the end where we need it, where we want to change our control flow in the end, we use a Golang context. So we just create a context at the startup of the app, put in all the settings, all the global flags, everything will be part of this context, and this context will then be provided to the actual command, and then we can use the context inside. So I think we've talked enough. Let's start coding. The first thing we will have to do is we will go into the app.go and we will have a quick look here. This is one of the first methods that is called. So it is called from our main function, and this will actually set up our app. So we will initialize a context. What is happening here inside is also that we load, so we provide in the config that was already read now from the file system. And on this config struct, there's a function called with context, and this will move all the options from the configuration into the context so that they are now available in the context, set correctly in the context, and that we can just now, let's say, throw away the config. We don't need it anymore because everything is set in this context. And let's quickly go back up again. Afterwards, so we have initialized the context, we will create the app, name, usage, help, and so on. So some metadata is provided here, and we provide some global flags. We already saw them in the help, and this is actually where we have to make our first change. So we also need a Boolean flag. We'll just copy paste this one here. Ours will be called noclip, and let's just delete this usage here, and let's just say here disable copy to clipboard. So now already this Earthwave CLI knows about this new global option, and it will be available in the help section, and you are able to set it. It will not do yet anything, but we can now set it. Let's have a quick look here. We're doing some other things, but in the end we are just returning the context and the app. And here, this is where we actually call the setup app. And here we also get the context, get the app, and then we will actually start the app. So app.run context, and we will pass in our created context so that it is available later on. Let's jump into the default.go, so our default command. What is happening here directly in the beginning? So we are getting in the context, and we are calling our context util with global flags. What this is doing is it will check for global flags and also now add the global flags into the context object. That means we have just created a new one, so we also have to implement some check here. So we'll check for the noclip global flag, and we will update our context. So we will call context with noclip. This does not yet exist, but we'll write it in a second, and we will also set it to true. Yeah, we always have here two helper functions, or one helper function for setting. This is then always called with always yes, with category, in this case with noclip, and there will be also another one in order to get the value. So let's have a look into the with always yes, and let's just copy these things here. Let's jump to the end of the file. Let's paste it here. We don't need this. We will just use the is always, the is noclip and the with noclip. So let's add the with noclip and is noclip. And of course here we can see there's some constant. Let's jump here. So every context entry gets a const value here. So we'll also add here our new noclip, so that we can just now use it here. ctx noclip and ctx noclip. So we'll set the value, we will return the value, default will be false. That's perfect. we set it in the beginning in the with global flags, so we can go back to our default.go. So now the option is set into the context, and the last thing we actually have to do is to use it. So let's check for the copy to, the clipboard copy to function calls. The first one is here for the username, and we will only do this if context util dot is noclip. So only if noclip is false, then we will execute this code. So we will actually copy it to the clipboard. This was for the username. Here we have the same for the actual password. So also here is noclip. One thing I just forgot also at the top, we of course have to provide the context into this helper. And one other thing, I just realized this is actually not needed. Just disable it, remove it. So also here we only copy this to the clipboard if the if noclip resolves to false. And that's it actually from the implementation. Let's have a look if it works. So here we are back into the terminal. Now we will run, let's start with -help. We will compile our program and we will have first a quick look into the help section if the global flag is here available. And here it is. We have noclip. And then let's have a look if we can also use it. So let's run the app and see if it will crash again or not. Oh, it crashed again. That means we have some bug. This was already here. So let's go back here. Context noclip, context noclip. That looks actually good. Oh, here we have a typo. Noclip. Then we set it to true. Yeah. Let's just compile again. And now it works. It does not crash. So that means the global flag can be used. Perfect. Now I will just push the code and then we see each other in a second in GitHub and we will create a merge request together. Here we are in GitHub. Tells us already, hey, we've pushed something to the noclip branch. Let's open a merge request. Have a quick look again what we have done. We've added the new global flag. We have used the noclip option for the copy username and for the copy password. We have added the new const for noclip. We are using this const in the with global flags function. And we have implemented a setter with noclip and a getter is noclip in order to read and write these options into our context. That looks good. So, features done. This can now be merged. If you have any questions regarding Passline, regarding Golang, or something else, feel free to write a comment. And then we will see each other the next time. Bye bye.